位弟兄姐妹长。
Good morning, brothers and sisters.
今天我们继续看一位在士师记当中一位女的一位士师。
Today we continue to study the book of Judges, and the one we focus on is the female judge.
有一位美国这个诗人女诗人，她怎样的把男的英雄女雄跟那个女的英雄分开，好像就是hero， 还有就是 heroes。
There's a female American poetess, and she tried to differentiate a male hero and a heroine.
她写的就是 heroes， 还有就是 heroes。
So in a poem, she write down for the male one, she writes as a hero, but for the female one, she wrote down as hero.
她很喜欢的用这个 heroes 来形容一些女的英雄的。
So she loves to use hero to describe those heroines.
在圣经里面有很多英雄。
There are a lot of heroes described in the
但是
Bible,
在圣经当中 heroes 它就没有那么多了。
but not many heroes mentioned in the Bible.
在圣经当中，众多的一个 heroes 当中今天我们要看的就是一个很出名的一个女的一个heroes， 她的叫做底波拉。
So among all the heroes mentioned in the Bible, one of them we're going to study this morning is Deborah.
底波拉是只在2章的士师记当中被提到她的名字。
And the author used 2 chapters to describe this Deborah.
但是她的事成她是充满了一些爆炸力的。
And her event is quite dramatic.
就在这2章这个经文当中，让我们能够可以完全的认识她。
So through these 2 chapters, we can study this person very well.
关于她在众事成当中，我们知道的，她就是一位女的先知。这种事情。
So among all the events, we know that she's a female judge.
一位判官。
And she's also a judge.
她住在以法莲山地拉玛和伯特利中间，在底波拉的重视下，以色列都向她那里去听判断。
So in chapter 4, verse 4, she was being described as Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lepida, was leading Israel at that time. She held court under the palm of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel in the hill country of Ephraim. And Israel came to her to have the dispute decided.
一位被神所使用的一位女士。
So she is fully used by God.
她被形容为以色列的母，以色列的母。
So she's being described as the mother of Israel.
在9章的第5章里面，全都是他所写的一首赞美神大能的一首诗。
So chapter 5 records the song of praise that she wrote down for God.
是在神怎么样的打胜了以色列敌人，你把这个事情写下来的一首赞美诗。
And this song describes how God led the Israelites defeat their enemies.
她是士师。
She is a female judge.
是一位很特殊的一位士师。
She's very unique in her duty.
她可以说是与她在士师记当中所提到的士师们来说，是一位很不同的一位。
So among all the judges described in the book of Judges, she's quite different.
例如，她不像书中其他士师所讲的一般，书中没有一个骂她的一些字。
So from compared with other judges described in the book of Judges, you will realize that there is nothing negative about her.
圣经讲的只有赞美她，没有責罵她。
And all the description about her is praise.
赞美她对神这个信心，还有行动上的一个侍奉。
And she was being praised, being faithful to God, and also supported by her action.
第二，他也没有像书中时他士师一般的被神所呼叫并选制，他在床上像做军事這個指揮官。佢冇好似其他嘅係士師嗰啲嘅係咁樣啦，佢係被神呼召去到前線裏面咧，做一啲嘅軍事上嘅係指揮嘅。
So not like other judges, she was not being called upon by God to be the commander-in-chief of the army and then being put in the front line.
我的意思就是说他只是盼着巴拉去打仗，而没有带兵去打仗的。
So my point is that she only accompanied Barak to fight the battle, but she does not lead any armies.
他只是去哪里作为巴拉的一个鼓励者。
And she's only a supporter of Barak.
第三，他在士师记当中是第一位士师里面真的做到一位被士师当中这个智慧当中这个行为和工作。嗰個職位，即係咧，佢喺士師記當，佢喺呢個嘅士師記，佢喺士師記當中咧，係第一位咧，係真係做到咧士師呢個嘅係職位同埋所做嘅事。
And she's the only one in the book of Judges that can carry out her duty as being a judge.
差不多所有的士師們都被召去打仗，但是他沒有。
And most of the judges in the book of Judges was being called upon to fight the battles, but not her.
但是他被稱為士師，
But she was being listed as a judge.
或者應該說是一位審判官。
Or we can say that she's a real judge.
因為他做了一位我們應有的一位審判官所應做的事情。
Because she carried out duty as being a judge.
人到他哪里去，就是要他在他們當中彼此之間一些糾紛當中做一個裁判。
So people come to her to settle their dispute.
或者你想一想，當談到審判官法官的時候，你想的是什麼東西？
So just imagine that if we focus on a judge, what kind of image or picture it will be in your mind?
一處法庭
And of course, that you see a courthouse.
一位穿着黑袍黑這個袍子這個法官，黑袍嘅一個法官。
So you will see a judge wearing a black cloak, and then of course with the white wig.
OK， 通常也有一個法警。
And of course, you see kind of officers, court officers there.
他擁有一些槍有槍的。
And of course, you carry guns.
還有在法庭裡面負責維持秩序的一個責任。
And of course, this court officer is the one that trying to maintain orders within the court.
在我們現在這個社會裡面，法官是做出審判的。
And in our society, the judge is the one who decides, who settled the dispute.
他們有權利去做出懲罰。
And he has the authority to sentence the criminals.
甚至把有罪的人判到監獄裡面坐牢。
And of course, he could put the criminals into jail.
但在那個時候情況是不一樣的。
But during Deborah's time, it's totally different.
在舊約裡面，士師好像就是一個仲裁員。
So in the time of the judges, the judge is only just like arbitrators.
在他們那裡並沒有這個警察，還有就是監獄自行這個檢驗履行這個裁決。
So at that time, there will be no court officer nor jails around.
而通常在城中的領導人會成為他們的一個仲裁員。喺城裏面一啲可以話啲領導嘅人都會成為咗一啲嘅佢哋嗰個嘅仲裁員。
So the elders within the city could also become the arbitrators.
而我们雅各会在一个他们的我们的雅各会在这个一个很舒适的一个法庭里面找到他们的。
But in our courtroom, we will not be able to find them.
反而你会在城门里面找到他们。
And you only can find these arbitrators in the city gate.
而他们就是在这个门口就做出一些仲裁了。
So they will settle the dispute at the city gate.
人们想解决他们这个争执的时候，的话
When people would like to settle the dispute,
就去到城外这个门口。
So they will go to the city gate.
只在这里哪里才可以找到社会当中智慧之士来帮助他们。
So they will find wise men in the society to help them out.
但相反来说，底波拉是不需要去到城门的。
On the contrary, Deborah does not need to go to the city gate.
她只需要坐在棕树下就可以了。
And she only needs to sit under the palm tree.
很特别
So it's quite unique.
4世纪当4章第5节说。
And then in Judges chapter 4 verse 5 it says.
他住在以法莲山地拉玛和伯特利中间，在底波拉的种树下，以色列人都想他哪里去听判断。
So Deborah held court under the palm of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel in the hill country of Ephraim, and the Israelites came to her to have the disputes decided.
底波拉是他时代里面一位最出名的一位士师。
And Deborah is one of the famous judges at that time.
审判或者说仲裁员。
And again, she is also an arbitrator.
那时代的人们涌向底波拉，对他求忠告。
So the people would kind of would kind of go to her and try to get her the dispute settled.
因此，他是以色列国的一位士师、审判员、仲裁员。
So Deborah is being classified as a judge and also arbitrator. Within the Israeli country.
但他也不单是士师，她是一位女先知。
Not only she is a female judge, she's also a prophetess.
你想起旧约那个先知的时候，你想到什么？
So when we talk about the prophets in the Old Testament, what will be in your mind?
想想以赛亚
Just think of Isaiah,
耶利米
Jeremiah,
但以利
Daniel.
这些是旧约时代出名的一些先知。
So those are the famous prophets in the Old Testament.
因为他们写下了预言书
Because they have written down the book of the prophecy.
或者他们有名堂的，是因为他们做出对将来这个预言。
The reason they are famous because they have prophesied about the future.
又或者这些先知之所以出名，因为他们他们能够讲出一些长篇大论的一些讲章。
The reason they're famous too is because they can give a long sermon.
宣告出神审判来临到以色列。
To proclaim God's judgment upon the Israelites.
但底波拉也没有做这一切。
But Deborah has not done that.
他没有写书。
She does not write a book.
他没有留下关于将来这个话语。
She has not written down any kind of a prophecy about the future.
当然，他也没有做过一些很长的演讲。
And again, he has not given a long speech.
那么底波拉没有行过这些事，他又怎可能称为女先知呢？
So Deborah had not done the above things. How come he was being classified or being categorized as the prophetess?
他干了什么，以致他配得名为女的先知？
So what kind of things has she done that she could be qualified, being called the prophetess?
有的。
Of course they are.
他做了一样在旧约时他先知也做的一些事情。
She has done something that other prophets have done before.
对我们来说，我们是不会是看这些东西为先知一个角色之一。
So to us, that those things that Deborah done might not be the role that the prophets should have done.
因为在圣经都没有，不是太强调的这些东西。
Because this role is not being described often or being described in details.
但在底波拉时代的犹太人，他们就明白这些事是先知或是女先知要做的。
But the Israelites at that time knows that those are the things that the prophetess or prophets should do.
他唱歌，
She sing.
诗世纪第5章就写出了底波拉向神赞美的诗歌。
So chapter 5 in the book of Judges records how Deborah singed for God.
唱出来和用要伴奏出来的一些先知会做的事情。
So she sing a song with the music that the other prophets would do.
即係用啲即係樂器唱法，即係做出嚟嘅，唱出嚟嘅。
So she sing with other musical instruments.
有一位圣经释经家留意到，预言通常是带有歌唱的。
And some Bible scholars realize that when the prophets talk about prophets, they always come along with songs.
也有一些释经家注意到在，撒母耳记上10章，还有在历代志上25章，把这个音乐伴奏稱為預言。有啲嘅釋經學家注意到係撒母耳記上10章同埋歷代志上嘅係25章，就將音樂咧伴奏為預言啦，音樂伴奏稱為預言。
So some of the Bible scholars have found that those events recorded in 1 King chapter 10, and 1 Chronicle chapter 25, that the songs with the musics are being classified as the prophecy.
在这个撒母耳记上10章里面告诉我们，当这个撒母耳差这个掃羅起行的时候说这样的话。
And then when Samuel tried to send Saul to do something in 1 Samuel chapter 10, that's what he says.
此后你到神的山，在哪里有非利士人的防兵？你到了城的时候，必遇见一班先知从幽坛下来，前面有鼓瑟的、击鼓的、吹苗的、弹琴的，他们都受感说话。
So chapter 10 verse 5 in 1 King. After that you go to Gibeah of God, where there is a Philistine outpost. As you approach the town, you will meet processions of prophets coming down from the high place with lyre, tambourines, flutes, and harps being played before them, and they will be prophesying.
在这个历代志上25章还有就是第5章里面就这样说。
From 1 Chronicle chapter 25 verse 5. Verse 5 and verse 1 and 5.
大会和众首领分派亚萨、示曼，并耶杜顿的子孙弹琴、鼓瑟、号笔、唱歌。
So David, together with the commanders of the army, set apart some of the sons of Asa, Heman, and Jeduthun for the ministry of prophesying, accompanied by harps, lyres, and cymbals.
还有就是这都是示曼的儿子，吹角重瞻，示曼供神之名作王的先知。
And verse 5 said, all these were sons of Heman, the king's seer. They were given him through the promises of God to exalt him.
那么这些人在这里干什么？
So what are those people doing?
他们歌唱。
And they are singing.
他们演奏一些乐器啊，他们献上音乐的给神。
They also play some musical instruments to offer the music to God.
这就是先知所做的事了。
And this is what the prophets have done.
而他们呢的歌声也必须要有发出声音和预言未来的一个目的的。
And of course, in the singing, they will also prophesy about the future. So they haven't done any kind of prophesizing.
即係冇呢咁嘅目的嘅嚇。
And it's not with that purpose.
他只不過很簡單，就是被感動，然後做出一些讚美。
And they're being touched by the Spirit of God, and that's why they sing out the songs.
那就是底波拉在第5章里面所做的一樣啦。
This is what Deborah had done in chapter 5 in the book of Judges.
很多時候，神都使用詩歌作為宣告出他偉大的一個途徑。
And quite often, God will use songs to proclaim His words
讚美
and proclaim His greatness.
這也是神借着摩西跟亞倫的姐姐米利暗在出埃及記第15章20到21節行出的事情了。
And this is what God used Moses' brother Aaron and also her sister Miriam to do in being recorded in Exodus chapter 15, 25 to 25.
亞倫的姐姐女先知米利安手裡拿着鼓，众婦女也跟他出去拿鼓跳舞。米利安因人声说：“你们要歌颂耶和华，因他大大战胜，将马跟骑马的投在海裡。”
So Miriam, the prophetess, Aaron's sister, took a tambourine in her hand, and all the women followed her. With tambourines and dancing, Miriam sang to them, "Sing to the Lord, for he is highly exalted. The horse and his rider he has hurled into the sea."
米利安的预言之歌正是底波拉歌。
So Miriam's singing about prophecy is the same as what Deborah has done.
用来宣告出神的大能。
And again, to proclaim the Almighty of God.
宣告就是神，这一位神打胜了以色列民这个仇敌。
So Miriam, both of them sing praise to God how they lead the Israelites to win over the enemies.
各位，这位底波拉是一位士师，也是一位女先知。
So Deborah is not only a judge, a female judge, she's also a prophetess.
还有圣经更想我们知道，她是一位很聪明的女人，妇人。
And the Bible also makes us realize that she's a wise woman.
但是她之所以是一位女性英雄，不是因为这一切。
The reason she's a heroine is not because of all this.
士师的身份是一个身份。
So being a role of a judge.
女先知身份和聪明的妇人都不是她被列入10世纪的理由。
Or having a role as a woman or a role as a prophetess are not the qualification to being called or classified as being kind of put down in record in the book of Judges.
底波拉被列入10世纪的原因，是因为他允许他自己为神做了一件很特别的事。
The reason for the Bible to describe Deborah is she's willing to be used by God to do something special for Him.
他在10世纪里面，是因为他在10世纪里是因为有一些危险出现。
And in the book of Judges, we realize that she faced some kind of difficulty, some kind of danger.
佢喺呢個士師記裏邊出 出現咧，或者因為有危機出現啦。
Because of the crisis, and that's why she was appeared in the book of Judges.
因為他被神使用去化解了這個危機。
And she's being used by God to try to solve the crisis.
故事大家都應該知道。
And you have heard the story before.
以色列依然故我的向假神的偶像敬拜。
And the Israelites continue to worship false idols.
因為他們這種敬拜拜偶像還有就是反叛注入了神。
Because they continue to worship idols and also rebel against God, that's why they offend God.
於是聖經告訴我們
So the Bible tells us,
耶和華就把他們賦予在下所作王的迦南王耶兵手中。
so that's why God handed them over to the Canaanite king Jabin.
他的將軍是施斯拉，
And his general is called Sisera.
以色列当时在一个叫巴拉的军税带领下，有军队10万人。
At that time, the Israelites had his own army of about 100,000 men under the commander Barak.
但是他们根本不能对敌于迦南王这个军队。
But they're not strong enough to fight against the Canaanite army.
原因是什么？
What's the reason behind?
因为施斯拉将军手下里有里面有900这个铁切。
Because in Sisera's army, they have 900 iron chariots.
所以相对来说，他们只是以人击蛇。
So in comparison, they are trying to destroy the stone with an egg.
他们只会变成一个被大屠杀。
And of course, if they do that, they're facing a big massacre.
但神要底波拉向巴拉告知这是作战的一个时候了。
But God tell Deborah to tell Barak that to lead the army to fight.
而当他们带着他们的军队去打一场似乎没有希望的战争的时候，
And when Barak was told to fight this seems to be a winless battle.
底波拉是会与他一起去的。
At that time, he asked Deborah to be with him.
但在史诗记中的故事就告诉我们，
And as the story goes, we realize
巴拉在这一场战争当中有一个很关键的一个因素。
and there's a key that we can realize how Barak has faced.
神应许了他的子民，当他们顺服他的话的时候，
So God gave him a promise if his people submit to him.
就係
Leviticus. 利未記
利未記26章7到8節，就是在这个利未记里面这个26章4到8节里面就这样写了。
So it's been recorded in Leviticus chapter 26, verse 7 and 8.
你们要追赶仇敌，他们必打在你们刀下。你们5个人要追赶100人，100人要杀赶1万人。仇敌的必倒在你们刀下。
So you will pursue your enemies, and they will fall by the sword before you. 5 of you will chase 100, and 100 of you will chase 10,000, and your enemies will fall by the sword before you.
所以当神与他们一起的话，他们是根本败不得。
So when God is on their side, they will win.
但是故事告诉我们还有一件怪事。
And they also tell us one strange thing.
究竟巴拉需要多少士兵去作战呢？
So how many men does Barak need to fight the battle?
10万呢？
100,000?
地觉得是一个很好的一个数目，是吗？
And it sounds to be a great numbers.
如果你还记得我们曾度过加勒的战事的时候，我们知道加勒也有10万兵。
So if you have heard about the story of Caleb, that we realize that Caleb also had an army of 100,000 men.
但大家还记得神告诉加勒怎么处理这10万兵呢？
So do you remember how God tell Caleb to organize his 100,000 men?
神告诉他要把大部分的士兵送回家。
And God tell Caleb to send most of the army home, most of the men. 祭奠的不是祭奠的，祭奠的祭奠。 So it's a story about Gideon.
神这样的解释说，跟随你的人过多，我不能将米甸的人交在他们手中，免得以色列人向我夸大，说是我们自己的手救了我们。
So chapter 7 verse 2, it says, the Lord said to Gideon, you have too many men for me to deliver Midian into their hands, in order that Israel may not boast against me that her own strength has saved her.
这样为何对祭奠来说10万兵是过多呢？
So how come God would say that Gideon has too many men to fight for him?
而对巴拉和底波拉又足够了。
But to Barak and Deborah, the 100,000 men is enough.
只是在这里，神用巴拉克的军队作为一个有力堡垒係咪？怎麼讀啊？堡壘嗰個。
So God used Barak's 100,000 men as the bait.
这里神很清楚的说出他的动机。
And God clearly described his motive.
他说：“我必使耶宾的一个将军斯斯拉属灵他的车辆和全军往自顺河到你哪里去，我必将他交在你手中。”
So God will lure Sisera, the commander of Jabin's army, with his chariot and his troops, to the Kishon River, and gave him into your hands.
我很相信神是打算用10万士兵来引诱斯斯拉的军妾进入战争当中。
So I believe that God used Barak's 100,000 men to try to lure Sisera's 900 iron chariot to get into the battle.
而斯斯拉必定不会因得300兵而用那么多兵来打一场仗。
If Sisera realized that Barak only had 300 men, then he will not use 900 iron chariot to fight the battle.
以色列的军队必须要有足够大的分量，斯斯拉才可能感到这是值得他出兵的。
So Sisera has to realize that he has faced a big barrier because of so many armies in front of him, and that's why he had to use all his iron chariots to fight the battle.
而就是当斯斯拉的战车一入到战场的时候，神就把他们逐一的打破了。
So when Sisera's army with the iron chariot get into the battlefield, then God defeat them.
当底波拉在他拿手赞美诗的时候，他这样的宣告。
And this is how Deborah's songs describe the battle.
耶和华啊，你从四移出来，由以东地行走，那是地震天漏 云崖落雨，山见耶和华的面就震动。是乃山见耶和华以色列神的面，也是如此。
O Lord, when you went out from Seir, and when you marched from the land of Edom, the earth shook, the heavens poured, the clouds poured down water, the mountains quaked before the Lord, the one of Sinai before the Lord, the God of Israel.
大家知道后来发生什么事情呢？
And you know what happened afterwards?
就当施斯拉投进这个战争之后，神在南方发出暴风，然后开始下起雨了，大雨来了。
So when Sisera was on the run, then God stirred up storms in the south.
跟着不停的下雨。
And it continued to rain.
听闻呢，曾经为什么纳粹德国在他们与俄罗斯的战争当中，他们之所以失败的原因的解释，就跟这个施斯拉一样。
So one of the reasons why the Nazi Germany got defeated by Russian army is because of this same kind of situation happened as in Sisera's.
纳粹德国的战争武器来源主要就是坦克车。
So the most destructive weapon that the Nazi Germany has is the tank.
这些坦克在当时可以说是一个最好的一个军事机器。
So the tank at that time is the most powerful weapons the army could have.
他们曾经是得了歼灭法国这个盟军关键的东西。
And these tanks are the key weapons that the Nazi Germany used to defeat the Allies in France.
但这些坦克主要是为东部，而不是为西部来作战而设计的。
But the tanks was more useful in the west.
坦克車嘅主要係為東部，而唔係為西部嗰個作戰而設計嘅。
So the tank was being designed to fight a battle in the west, but not in the east.
為咗東部。
Or it's being designed to fight a battle in the east, but not in the west.
之所以打败那个斯特勒这个坦克，其实不是俄罗斯这个军事实力，而是俄罗斯的土地。
So the reason for the Russian army could defeat the Nazi Germany is not because of their weapons, but because of the land.
当这片土地变成这个很湿的时候，就变成很泥泞的。
So when the land is full of mud, it's very hard for the tanks to move around.
德国人这个坦克常常就是在这个泥沼当中没法的移动。
And that's why most of the time the Nazi Germany's tank got stuck in the mud.
在这情况下，德国的军将部队只会变成一个很大片的一个金属片。喺咁嘅情況之下，德國嗰個嘅軍甲部隊咧，只係變成好似一大片嘅金屬片。
So with this under this situation, the German army turned out to be just a big piece of metals on ground.
他们只有被俄罗斯那个军队摆布了。
And that's why they're being manipulated by the Russian armies.
我相信发生在施斯拉那个军队里面就是这样。
I'm sure the same situation happened in Sisera's battle with the Israel.
就因着雨从天降下，就使那些铁切陷入这个泥土当中。
And because of the rain and turned the ground into muddy ground, and so those iron chariot got stuck there.
他们当然可以移动，但是是很慢动作的这样移动的。
Even though they could move, but in slow motion.
再加上神使地震动，就是地震。
And also God allowed earthquakes happened.
面对了已经卷入了与以色列神这个战争之中的一些事实，而巴拉这个部队 不是远远落后于他们施斯拉的部隊天王之處啊。面對住已經捲入咗呢個同以色列嘅戰爭神嘅戰爭當中嘅事實啦，而巴拉嘅部隊咧亦係遠遠嘅唔係遠遠嘅落後於佢哋，所以西沙拉嘅部隊咧就驚惶失措，開始逃跑。
So because the Sisera's armies now get involved into the battlefield to fight against God, and Barach's army is not in comparison, not being weaker than the Sisera's.
即係已經追到嚟啦，
And they're not far away, and that's why Sisera's army got defeated.
驚惶失措
Being out of fear.
走晒去啊！而施斯拉也跑。
And Sisera also was on the run.
施斯拉向北跑進一座山。
And Sisera went to the mountain.
就以為那裡是他自己朋友一個帳篷。
And he thought that this mountain is where his friends is.
那裡有一位婦女，女士啊，給他吃物。
And she met a woman, and who gave her food to eat.
給他牛奶
Milk to drink.
讓他安舒。
And give her a place to rest.
當他睡的時候
When he was sleeping,
就將這個什麼橛子鐵子從他這個鬢邊釘進去，釘入地裡。
So she drove the tent peg into Sisera's temple.
施斯拉就是這樣死了。
And Sisera died right at the spot.
神在那天地絕的打敗了施斯拉。
And God helped the Israelites to defeat Sisera at that time.
士師記第5章、9章都是讚美神這個詩歌寫下來，向神做出感恩。
And that's why Deborah could write a song to thank God for what He has done in the victory battle that the Israel has.
但是在這個故事當中有一個很特別的事情。
And in the entire story, there's something strange. Something different.
就在這場這個戰爭未發生之前
And before the battle began,
在巴拉還沒帶軍隊出戰之前
before Barak led the army to fight the battle,
在拿軍隊還沒組成的時候
so before the army was being fully organized,
神要底波拉向巴拉告知要出戰
and God just warned Deborah to tell Barak to prepare for the battle.
但巴拉聽了之後沒有感到什麼興奮
But after Barak heard the message, he was not excited to get into the battle.
巴拉說你若同我去我就去你若不同我去我就不去
So Barak said to Deborah, if you go with me, I will go. But if you don't go with me, I won't go.
底波拉说：“我必与你同去，只是你在所行的路上得不了荣耀，因为耶和华将施斯拉交给一个妇人手里。”于是底波拉起来，与巴拉一同往基地寺去了。
So Deborah replied, "Very well, I will go with you, but because of the way you are going about this, the honor will not be yours, for the Lord will hand Sarah over to a woman." So Deborah went with Barak to Kadesh.
究竟這是一回怎麼樣的事呢？
So why would Barak have this kind of response?
我相信就是男跟女的分別了。
I'm sure this is the difference in character between a male and a female.
男是給比較大和仗，比較一些刺激呢，激進的犧牲的。
So male could be quite impulsive and seems to feel kind of strong.
女生往往更屬靈和宗教上的 religious。
And for females seems to be more spiritual and religious.
男士往往想去解決問題
And male would like to be decisive.
女士就聆聽別人
And female is a good listener.
並與他對大家這個並與 对人渣这个问题感受到表示同情。
And female would try to put themselves into the same shoe as the person that they're in questions.
就是因为男士大强势盛，他们总是倾向有種主導女士。就係因為男性嘅大強壯氣性，佢哋總係傾向有種主導女士。
Because a male seems to feel strong and impulsive, so they would like to lead the females.
而女士因着她们一般都是比較體小，弱於男性，所以她們往往追求安全和保護。而女士因為佢哋一般都係比較體細，同埋呢個嘅係弱於男士，所以她們往往追求安全和保護。
So female being smaller in size and weaker, so they would like to find protection under the male.
這一切產生出兩性之間這個衝突。
And with this difference, that's why there seems to have a conflict between the two.
而男士往往因着他們比女人大和強，都會在衝突當中贏得勝。
Because the male being bigger in size and impulsive, and then when they face the female, they seems to win the situation, win over the situation well.
可能你們那個不是這樣啊。在我們這個社會上，這種情況被稱之為男士主導的社會。
So in a society, we would say that usually men leads the way.
這當然不健康。
And of course, it's very unhealthy.
不聖經化。
It's not biblical.
當男人主導這女士的時候，這就證明出他們已經取代神這個地位。
So when man leads the female, it seems like they take the place of God.
這樣的男士把自己看作為主官。
And the male think that the male think that they are the leader.
而不是讓神自己去做。
But not let God to be the main leader.
因此，女士就變成了他們這個婦人的傭人。
So the female becomes their maid.
在這種氣氛下，婦女就受到虐待、濫用和這個錯誤的被對待。
So under this mentality, women quite often are being abused. And being misused by male.
錯誤嘅被對待。
And also wrongly treated.
創造這種環境的男士都不能讓在他們這個生命裏面創出一些虛榮出來。
So with this situation being created by male, it's hard for us to find heroes. Then it's hard for us to create heroes.
在此也不可能有空間用女性發出他們的光芒出來。
And again, with under this situation, the female cannot shine for themselves.
但所以說，就是現在這個世界，女生現在都已經可以做這個首領了。
And in this modern world, we can see there are quite a few female leaders.
可能香港再過一段時間就有一個女的一個英雄出來。
So in the near future, Hong Kong might have a female chief.
但在馬太福音20章25到28節裏面，耶穌曾經這樣的說。
And Jesus also mentioned this in Matthew chapter 20, verse 25 to 28.
耶穌叫了他們來說：你們知道外邦人有君王為主治理他們，有大臣管束他們，只是在你們中間不可這樣。你們中間誰願為大，就必做你們的用人；誰願為首，就必做你們的僕人。正如人子來，不是要受人的服侍，乃是要服侍人，並且要捨命做多人的贖罪。
So Jesus said, you know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their high officials exercise authority over them. Not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first must be your slave. Just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many.
当他的子民这样的支配和奴役对人的意志的时候，神他自己就是很震撼這種神做法的。當神嘅子民咁樣嘅支配或奴役別人嘅意志嗰陣時候咧，神自己係好憎恨呢種嘅做法。
So when God's people try to manipulate others to be their slaves, and God hate this kind of deed.
神憎恨男性主導的社會。
And God hates the man leading role in the society.
而聖經沒有這樣的教導。
Because it's not biblical.
聖經不斷的教導的就是
And what the Bible stressed is
男士被創造出來是要做帶領。
And of course, male being created as leading role.
和賦予有一個責任這個智慧。
And the female has a responsibility and also has a wisdom.
佢賦予一個責任嘅字。
And she had to have responsibility.
所以聖經說女士是不應該做教導的。
So the female should not be has the teaching role.
和有一個權柄過於男士。
Or has the authority over the male.
當然而家社會都聖經即係基督徒女士都已經都唔睇呢樣嘢。教導和有關教會決策的責任，應是由神所交託男士去做的。
So all the decisions should be kind of done by male as God has appointed. So as teaching.
当这个男士背起这份工作，教会就会变得更强。
So when male are willing to take up this role, then the church could get stronger.
得到更好的保护。
And will have a better protection.
当他们不站出来做他们的工作的时候，教会就受苦了。
So when the male are not willing to take up those roles, then the church will suffer.
也可以说，当男弟兄不出来做侍奉的时候，教会怎么办？女的唯有就走出来，做一些他们可能不应该做的事情了。
So when the male congregation do not want to get involved in ministry, and of course the female are being forced to do so.
冇辦法，都要做，所以違反聖經。
And of course this is not biblical.
但在教會裏面，聰明的姊妹便不會讓這樣的事情發生。
But for the wise females, the wise sister in the church will not allow this to happen.
聰明的姊妹總是會挑戰自己的男人站出來做帶領的。
And the wise sister will always challenge her spouse to try to get involved.
當然也不是叫他不要做了，不要做了。
But not to discourage him not to take part.
這也是正發生在巴拉的情況下。
And the same situation happened on Barak.
底波拉明白到去作戰保護國家是一個男士的責任。
Deborah realized that to protect the road, to protect the country, falls on the male.
這是巴拉的工作。
And it's Barak's role.
這是他的工作去帶領作戰。
And it's Barak's role to lead the army to fight.
但他真的不想這樣去做。
But Barak does not want to do so.
他想要依賴底波拉，他想讓他幫他去帶領軍隊。
But Barak only rely on Deborah and to help him to lead the army.
他很想回對他自己的工作，而底波拉不讓他這樣做。
But Deborah does not allow his wish to come true.
他會跟他一起去。
But Deborah is willing to go with him.
而我相信他是不斷的會挑戰他振作起來做帶領的。
I believe Deborah will continue to encourage Barak to take up the active role as leading.
曾经听过一件事情，有一位姐妹参加了一件很多信主的人一个教会。
And I have heard a story about a sister in Christ attend a church that lead a lot of people to Christ.
關教會好多新人。
There are a lot of new converts.
在當中沒有給這位姐妹認識聖經更多的一些人弟兄一些嘅弟兄姐妹喺嗰度咧冇一啲咧比呢位姊妹認識聖經更多嘅人。
But within that church, not many people know the Bible more than these sisters.
因為她在教會裡面長大嘛。
Because she has been raised in a church.
她對聖經有很多的認識。
And she knows the Bible well.
這樣大家都應該猜到誰在這個情況下誰會背起這個工作了，教導的工作了。
So under this situation, you will find out that who would try to take up the teaching role.
當然就是這位姐妹了。
And of course, this sister.
但令她感到困擾的就是
what confused her is
她知道自己給其他人對聖經有更多的認識。
She realized that she knows the Bible better than others.
但是她也知道男士本應就是要起來做教導的。
She also realized that the male should take up the church role.
但那時更沒有男士可以有足夠對聖經有足夠的認識。
But unfortunately, the male congregation does not know the Bible well.
還有足夠的信心出來做這個教導。
Or have enough faith to take up this duty.
所以他就回家不斷地為這件事情禱告。
So she go home and continue to pray for the church.
在一個主日，他回到教會上課的時候，對學生有一個教義，一個丟。
So the next Sunday, she go back to church and make a deal with her students.
他說他會在這個教導上教導一段時間。
She says she will continue to teach for sometimes.
但他們希望當中有兩位的男士也承諾出來代替他做教導的一個工作。
She would also like two male within the group are willing to promise to come out to take up this teaching role.
過了幾個星期
And after a few weeks,
他對兩位男士說
and then she talked to these two male brothers.
並教導他如何的去學習聖經
And teach them how to instruct others about the
怎
Bible.
麼樣去使用一些釋經書
And how to use some kind of commentaries.
也教導他們怎麼樣做字詞的研究
So she also guide them how to study those words.
和有參考其他種類的一個參考書
And also look up different references.
再過一段時間
And after some times,
他就開始強迫兩位男士進到課堂裡面做教導
so now she could give up her role as teaching and just hand it over to these two brothers.
和讓他們最終接管作為正式的教師
And later on, they become the real teachers.
結果他們也成為一些教會裡面一個領導人
And they turn out to be the church leader later on.
各位就是因為這一位姊妹挑戰那些男士這樣的教導
And it's because of this sister willing to challenge the brothers, and that's why this is the outcome.
結果這兩位男士成為了他們本應該要成為的
So these two brothers become willing to take up the role that they should take.
這一位的姐妹就是底波拉
So this sister is Deborah.
她顯出她自大的智慧
So she used her wisdom.
她致力的建立這兩位男士成為教會的一個領導人
So she built up these two brothers become the church leaders.
神也就是這樣的興起了他的僕人
This is how God raise up his leaders, his servants,
特别就是一位女英雄，
and especially this heroine.
一位敬虔的妇女，就是应该是这样的。
So a devoted sister should be like that.
敬虔的妇女，
So
或是敬虔的男士了。
So for godly Christian,
会是一些比较关注神不人，或是他敬虔的一个妇女，是一些比关注神的不人，或是他人过于要站起来，得到有权力地位上权力的地位上。
so for godly Christian, they will care for the God's servant more.
敬虔嘅婦女或者係男士都好啦，會係一啲比較關注神嘅僕人，或係過於咧係要站起嚟咧，係要喺嗰個嘅有權力嘅地位上面。
So for godly Christian, whether it's male or female, they should care more about God's servant and not to take up the role as having the authority over others.
有时候我会这样的想，
And sometimes I will think,
就是当耶稣讲到要做大，就是别人的仆人这句话的时候，
when Jesus teaches us to be the servant of others,
我有時咁樣諗，
and sometimes I will think,
當耶穌講到要做大嘅，就係別人嘅僕人嘅呢句話嘅時候，
when Jesus instructs us, if we want to be greater than others, then we should be the servant of others.
它都是包括了像底波拉一樣嘅婦女。
So Jesus includes the role that Deborah has taken before.
有人講得很對，
Someone said correctly,
他指出女士往往都在耶穌這個事工上作為一個工具的。
so he pointed out that the sisters always to be the tools of God. Jesus always under Jesus.
就是一個女士，她的母親瑪利亞促使耶穌行出了第一個神蹟。
And just like Jesus' mother, Mary, and God used her to perform the miracles.
就因為個女士就係呢個瑪利亞，耶穌母親瑪利亞咧，就令到促使到耶穌有工具㗎嘛，促使到耶穌啦行出咗第一件嘅神蹟。
So just like Jesus' mother, Mary, and because of her, that Jesus performed the first miracle.
就是兩個女士馬大和瑪利亞，在她的事工上服侍基督。
And again, with Mary and Martha and these two sisters that served Jesus.
就係呢兩位嘅女人，就係馬大同瑪利亞，就喺佢神嘅耶穌嘅事工上邊服侍佢。
So this Martha and Mary, these two sisters that served Jesus in his ministry.
即係神嘅，即係用啲女士咧喺佢事工上成為一個工具，一個嘅即係工具咪冇，即係工具啦。
So God could use them as a vessels in his ministry.
器皿嘅，就是一位女人瑪利亞，在她耶穌基督上十字架之前，用油膏抹他。
And again, that Mary would use a bottle of perfume to anoint Jesus before Jesus was being crucified.
就是有兩位女人，莫大拉的瑪利亞、雅各的母親瑪利亞，並撒羅比亞，在耶穌審判和並釘十字架的過程裡面陪伴着他。
So in Jesus' trial, before his crucifixion, that Mary Magdalene, Jacob's mother Mary, and also Jacob's mother Mary, with Jesus at the time.
OK，就是有职位的女士莫大拉莫大拉瑪利亞、約亞拿、雅各的母親瑪利亞和其他人，成為第一班這個目擊證人，見證耶穌是復活的救主。有幾位嘅女士咧，就喺嗰個嘅係成為咗第一班嘅係目擊證人，證明耶穌係復活咗。
And again, with this few sisters, but the first witness to see Jesus being resurrected.
所以他看到女士在神的事工上這個角色是怎麼樣的。
So we see how the sisters play in the role in Jesus' ministry.
而男士这个角色又是怎么样？
So how about the roles of brothers?
如果男士的你不愿意起来的时候，女士的她就起来了。
So if being brothers, if you're not willing to take up the role, then of course the sisters will do that. Will
这
do
是一
so.
个不好的现象。
But of course, this is not the normal phenomenon,
不好的，不是好的一个圣经化的一个教导。
and it's not a biblical teaching.
所以你们男士要好好的想一想。
So as brothers, please think it over.
而在今天现在的教会里面，教会大部分都由那个女士组成的。
So in the modern church nowadays, most of the roles in church ministries taken up by sisters.
若你不做，人家就做了，然后你的责任就有一天神就要你叫价。
So even though you do not take up the role, others would, but you still have to give your account back to God.
在我们教会里面也有很多有远见和智慧的狄波拉。
And within our church, there are also a few wise Deborah.
在我们教会里面也有不少神有能力，不少神有能力，给他们有能力的一些女士。
And of course, within our church, God also gives the strength and wisdom to a lot of sisters.
在我们教会里面也有一些充满信心的女性神。
And of course, within our church, there's a lot of faithful heroine.
而我们教会也需要你这样的妇女，
And again, we need this Deborah in our church.
否则教会就变得软弱，更绝乏了。
Otherwise, our church will become weaker and will become lack of resources.
你们想成为神所兴起的妇人吗？
Do you want to be the servant raised up by God?
最重要就是神眼中的一些女英雄的眼中嘅神眼中嘅啲女英雄。
The most important is to become the heroine in the eyes of God.
让我们低头祷告。
So let's bow and pray.
主，我们再次感谢你。
Lord, we thank you.
主在你的眼中，什么人都可以给你使用。
So in your eyes, everyone can be used by you.
无论我们怎么样，没有软弱也好。
Whether we're weak or not,
无论我们是怎么样聪明也好，
whether we are wise or not,
纵然我们没有自信也好，
even though we lack of faith,
这些理由完全不能够成为你不使用我们的理由。
but these are not excuse that not to be used by you.
因为当你使用我们的时候，你就给我们一些能力。
Because when you use us, you will give us strength.
应该可以做把事情做好的一些能力，能够完成你给我们的责任。
Because you give us the ability to fulfill your tasks.
主啊，你使用无论我们是男也好，是女也好，你都一切都是一一的去使用的。
So whether we're brother or sister, you still can use us.
主啊，求你帮助我们，
So please help us out, Lord.
准备我们的心。
Prepare our heart.
无论我们是男是女也好，
Whether we're brother or sister,
不要太注重自己的事情，
and not to care too much of our personal agenda,
注重多一些你自己的事工，
but care more about your ministry.
让主你自己的教会能够继续的去被使用。
So may your church be fully used.
在这里更让我们弟兄姐妹继续的敬拜你。
And help our brothers and sisters to continue to worship you.
帮助我们做男士的知道自己的责任，
And help us being brothers know our responsibilities.
不要把自己的责任交托女士，
Not to hand our roles into the hands of sisters.
所以这是帮助我们做妇女的，
And again, help those sisters
让我们多多的鼓励我们的另外男士，
and also encourage your brothers
让他们能够走出来做带领，
so they can step up to become to take up the leading
在
role.
我们背后完成我们自己做女生的一个责任。
And again, help us to become just the helpers.
主啊，我们再次将教会完全交在主的手中，
And we commit our church into your hands, Lord.
都祷告是奉主名求。
In Jesus' victorious name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
好，让我们唱一首诗歌。 这首诗歌就是在我们也是在我们这个生命圣诗当中这个247首啊。This song is also you can find it out from our hymns of life 247。我哋可以喺呢個嘅生命聖詩嘅247裏面揾到呢首歌。要我们一起站起来唱。在全世生命寄居到路上，多少人看见理想。好，再来一遍。 肉。今天我们就在